Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body. Keep your back straight and neck head straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring attention to your bell sound, this bell sound, and follow the sound, please. While you're focusing to the sound, you can mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes to ourselves to understand how this meditation practice will help for us to develop our spiritual practice. So when it comes to meditation, we have to remember in the very beginning of the Buddha's teaching, there was a purpose for this all. So that purpose is to recognize what is truth. And during that time, everyone look into that, what is profitable and what is truth. And as you know, when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, the very core teaching is Four Noble Truth. So that is why it introduced by that name, because everybody used to search for truth. And then out of that truth, they found out many things. In day-to-day life, if you look around you, you may find there are a lot of things. And as truth, we can recognize, we can't deny. So, but when it comes to ultimate truth, out of this all, then we all have to come to accept this change. And that change itself brings us unsatisfactory nature. So then we have no power over anything. So that's why out of this all, we have to come to that bottom line to see what is the ultimate out of this all experience. So when it comes to that, there are many ways that we can get into that ultimate truth. There are many windows that we can open. There are many paths that we can open. There are many viewpoints that we can develop to get into that bottom line. So today we are going to get into the same destination using different method. So this method is very old, very ancient, and mostly this comes that as a core teaching of the Tibetan Buddhism. And it also came from the Yogacarya, one of the Mahayana tradition, and then it went to the Tibetan tradition, and it slowly developed there, and it takes us to deeper into recognize ultimate truth. So this called for investigation. So when it comes to our mind, there is a very nature, we always look into things. We question. We like to know, we like to observe, we like to recognize, we like to investigate. We like to think on the top of our experience. So how this tradition use our natural behavior of the mind to get into the bottom of this experience or the ultimate truth. So these four investigations and take us to clearly understanding of this reality. It is not a kind of like a development of a kind of like a mental view. It detached us from the mental view, but it used the same nature of the mind, character or the behavior of the mind to get into the reality. So what are those four investigations? One is name of things, another one is the things, and the third one is nature of things, and the fourth one is separations of things. So let's go one by one. Name of things mean, so you can use it. In the beginning, we understand it using the outside object, and then you can use the same principle to recognize your inside also. So to recognize your mental formations also, go into deeper to investigate your mental formations. But it is very simple for us to get the outside object and understand how this method works. So, name of things. So as you know, all the objects carry different names. So even though it's carry a different name, when we say the name, each and every person has a different picture of it. So then you have to be mindful what kind of picture that you carry when you hear the name. So as example, the tree. So we all know about the trees. So when we hear the tree, even though it is the same word, if we all start to draw a picture about a tree, we all going to come from different kind of picture. We will bring different kind of picture. So what does that mean? Even though we use the same name, even though we understand the object using the name, when it comes to us, we have a different kind of picture about it. So then there is a similarity, but at the same time, it is not the same. So in the very beginning, you have to understand when you hear the name, what you mean by it. So as example, we can say a cup. So when you hear that name in your mind, you have a different kind of a cup. So, but it's the same kind of character there, but it comes from different kind of form. So then it is very important for ourselves to understand this, because in day-to-day life, most of time, we try to communicate with others, and in that communication, when we say something, we hope that other person also going to understand the same thing. Conventionally, in conventional truth, it can be kind of like similar or the same, but when it go into a little bit deeper, It is not like that. We all have different interpretations out of the name. So one should have that understanding, and then you are not going to bound to, clinging to, it's kind of like the name, because you know, even though it has a name, it has a different understanding. So that is one thing. So name, when it comes to the things, that things we hold by the name, but even though we hold it by the name, it's not going to be the same. So that make you more flexible when it go to the society, in yourself, and it will help you to not to go into arguments, not to go into kind of like a misunderstanding, but to give a space for other people or the others' opinions or the others' ideas. So that is the first one. Name of things. And another thing out of the naming, and even though that there is something exist as things, when it comes to the name, it is just a name. Because that the what is exist outside, we really cannot get out of the name. So then you become a little bit more soft with the material things, and even with your kind of like mental formations, or with your experience. Because when you experience something, and if you try to name it, and you know, you can't bring it to a name. It's because it's just a name. So that is another thing with the name. So the second investigation is the thing. So there is such a thing as a tree. There is such a thing as a cup. And there is such a thing as a computer. There is such a thing as a house. So like that, you have to understand each and everything has a different shape and character and the space. So we have to accept it. So physically, when we understand it, and the mentally also, we have to understand each and every person need a space. And for their ideas, their opinions, it needs a space. We have to respect for that. So physically and mentally, both way you can develop this investigation. And when it comes to a tree, and it has a different form and format for that, character for that. So separating the rock or the mountain from the tree is a kind of like a knowledge and a wisdom. You're not going to see the both together. When you say a tree, and then you have to go into understand the mountain and the tree is two different things. And when it comes to a tree, also another thing is there are many other trees. So then you have to be very careful. Because what kind of things, what is the exactly thing that you mean by? So that way, your investigation, your understanding, that your clarity regarding something become more sharp and clear. Another thing is, it's the things, it's just the things, that's it. It doesn't have a very inherent, that unchangeable. It's kind of like a consciousness hold it to only for that, or the character hold only for that. It's just a thing. So that is one thing. And the third investigation is nature of things. So when it comes to the tree, it has a nature. It has a character. And also you can go a little bit more deeper, and we come with the kind of like a philosophical idea. It has a purpose. And when it comes to the mountain, so it has a character. So you separate the nature of things and you go into more deeper and recognize, investigate. And it gives a kind of like a deeper wisdom. And not only that, it not allow us to then just hold it to on the surface level of name or the picture. It takes us to more little bit deeper into understand about it. So animals and all the plants, and even when it comes to our mind, our thoughts. So when it comes to kind of like the greed, hatred, and the delusion, so it has a nature. Loving kindness, generosity, compassion, wisdom, it has a nature. Separate it from other thoughts. It is a thought, but it deeply has a different nature. So like that, you investigate about it and you go deeper into that and recognize. And then another thing is the nature of the things is kind of like not going to be permanent. So when you go into deeper, you recognize it's always going to change for something. And the plant can become a tree. And then that tree again can become a table. And the table and the top of the table, bottom of the table, legs. So like that, this nature of things not going to be permanent and is going to stay in the same level. So the thought's the same. It's not going to be in the same level. It's going to go into something else. And so once you understand that, you recognize this all has a journey. And we the same. We also go through a journey. So the fourth one is separation of the things. Separations. And if it is go deeper, like 4 elements, heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness, and the space, and the consciousness, awareness, this all come together. And you can divide the tree into the trunk, the roots, the branch, the tree leaves, the flowers. So like that, there's no such a thing called the tree itself. So when it comes to, the very good example is when it comes to the human body. So the human body come out of different organs together. So the hands, the legs, the head, and the deeper inside the lungs, liver, kidney, heart, brain. So this all come together, bring the human body. So otherwise, there is no such a thing exist, kind of like a body. So when it comes to this entire, anything, if you look very carefully, you can separate it. There's nothing exists independently itself and without separation. So if anything can separate, so what does that mean then? That means you can't take it itself. So then if you look into anything, if you can separate it, so that's why you have to investigate about if it can separate, how you can take it as something. So then you have to question about it. So when it comes to the world, we name it as the world, but once you start to separate it to countries, the land, the water, space, so like that, what you mean by the world, the universe, then if you can separate the planets, and if you can separate the sky, if you can separate this all together one by one, and what you mean by the universe. So when it comes to any name that we carry, whatever in your mind, ideas, the thoughts, the emotions, the needs. So if you look very carefully, if you can separate it, and then there is nothing to clinging. So that is where it takes you to emptiness. End of this all, if you can separate it to something, what you find ultimately? Nothing, empty. So on the bottom of this all, if it is empty, how you can name it as something? So like that, this poor investigation take us to the same place or the same dharma that we talk about, this Four Noble Truth. And at the same time, when it comes to the vipassana level of understanding, and out of the tranquility meditation, one should tranquilize the mind. The vipassana meditation directly take you to this four investigation. So that is another route that you take, go into the deeper understanding. So once you have this clarity in your mind, again and again, what will happen? So that you release your mind from the ideas that you carry regarding this outside world or any perception that what you perceive. And another thing is about this world. And that is one thing. And other one is, so whatever happening inside us with this thinking mind, and deeply you recognize this all mental formations or the sanskara or the cankers or the habitual patterns or the ideas or the thoughts we hold just by ourselves, and we define it by our own opinions. So other than that, there is no such a thing independently, unchangeably exist inside you or outside you. So that once you have that clarity or the understanding, it will help you to have the detachment. So that detachment comes as a result of understanding. Another thing is, you start to be more open. Rather than having very narrow-minded, tight mind regarding the ideas or the views, you start to have very clear, broader viewpoint. And then another thing is, then the subject and object both ultimately is empty. So once you have this experience and you recognize it's a moment of experience, if you're not clinging to that with the ideas or the thoughts or the opinion, it's just moment of experience. And the very next moment is a very brand new moment, and you are capable to accept it and you are capable to experience it as a brand new moment, and at the same time as a very with a very new consciousness. So that's mean it allows this whole investigation allow you to let go that all the past habitual patterns or the methods or the ideas, the opinions to be conditioned by ourselves. So that newness is very necessary for you to understand, to get into the bottom level of truth. So truth is ultimately nothing but emptiness. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck hit straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say Swapatteva. Oh, may I be well and happy 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. So when it happens through the sensation, recognize it. Do nothing extra. So if your mind go here and there, you can bring it back again and again and settle down with the sensation. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all 6 directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata chammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhamma nudhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Adhaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjiswami Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.